Alright, so I worked on this side, and what I ended up doing was taking this bushing and opening up the inside of it so that it is the same diameter as, well, open it up so that it would be able to take threads so I could thread it onto the motor. So that's what I have now. I have a pulley that I'm not going to attach to this side. So if I want to make the jack shaft on this side, that's what I'm going to go and do. And my only problem is, as the motor powers up, it's going to want to unthread itself. And fortunately, it's on the way that, you know, it doesn't get tighter, it gets looser. So my only thought is going to be to drill right through the center of that bushing, and when this is tight, wherever it lands up on the threads, I'm going to countersink into that and have that point of the set screw lock it into there and possibly Loctite. So that'll be what I'm going to go with now for that side. And that's aluminum. I'm probably going to beef it up. This is a steel one. Plus, I think the diameter, it's got a little smaller, so that knocks my gear ratio down. But I don't know what I'm going to get till it's all together. So I figure I'll just kind of leave that like that for now. And what I'll do is I'll hollow out the pull start, wherever that ended up, somewhere on the bench. There it is. So what I can do is hollow out the pull start. Actually, I could probably just leave the pull start right on it and cut part of the case away so that will go right back over and kind of hide those components. Only thing I'm kind of I'm fearing is that as this motor takes a load, the points are on this side. That I wonder if I'm going to change that point gap, if that crank is going to flex at all or not. Again, worst case scenario, I can come off the other motor and use that electrical to fire both motors, but we'll see again when I get to that point. So now I'm going to work on trying to get what's tying the two motors together, which are going to be these two sprockets from AMZ's Corner, and see if I can make that go on there nice and tight. I'm gonna take it on the lathe and take that little shoulder down off of that. See if I can get this to sit a little further. That's a tapered shaft, and if it can center itself really good, and I can get the nut back on it, I'll probably just be able to crank right down on it and figure out some kind of way of keying it. Actually, that's steel and that's steel. I might even be able to take it and run the nut down on it and come behind it with a TIG welder. Might be able to get it in there with a TIG welder. I can actually TIG weld that sprocket right to that guy. So that's what I'm going to go work on now. Alright, so I put it back together, and that flange has been taken off of there. And I just wire wheeled that pulley, try to get some crud off of it, and I also took, there was a keeper right there. There, see it? I just kind of ground that out of the way so the nut had someplace to go. And if you can do that to both motors and tie them together. Right now it's just kind of wrench tight. It's not super tight. I'm also trying to figure out what would be my best option to pin it. And if you look on the motor, let's see. Look on that motor. Now again, I cut this flange right off. That's not there anymore. But I have these 4 bolt holes I can kind of work with too, plus the center big nut. This is already keyed. If I could tie the pulley to this, it'll be the same thing, and it's also nice and snug on the shaft, so everything kind of will key together pretty good. The thing is, that thing can be doing some RPM. It would be better to have sprockets, probably, I'm guessing about half the size, probably like the size of a paint can spray lid. This is what I have, and we're gonna go try this and see how it works out. It's more fun that way. So I stuck it in here. I got the plug out of it just so I can kind of spin it, but it does have some. I don't know if the camera's going to pick it up. It's a little kitty wampus. So I'm going to take the two surfaces off again and probably hit them with a file. Just make sure they're nice and flat and try it again. Also, I don't think it's running. You know, this is a taper fit. I don't have it running all the way, but it's a bitch to take on and off without something to grab on, so I don't want to crank it down too far. Alright, I'm going to take it apart and see if I can get that to run true. Alright, I stuck that in the back in the lathe, and then I faced it, give it a flatter surface to sit on. We'll pop that back in and see how it works. And after a little bit more whittling away, she be dead nuts. That makes me happy. Now I just got to do another one. So I decided to make up a solid plate that would hold both motors, and it'll keep them square to each other. So this is a piece of stainless. I believe it's 1/4 inch. Yeah, it's 1/4 inch stainless, actually diamond plate. And the other side will be the finished side that you'll see. And this will be the where the face of the motor sits on. And I got 2 holes for each one right now. I got to elongate those holes, but stainless is really tough to cut. So that's why I'm going with plasma cutter. And we'll notch these out and we'll kind of clean them up with a grinder afterwards. I do it on a bandsaw, but it'll kill a blade, so I don't want to do that. Yeah, let's see what this does. I got the plasma cutter actually pegged. It goes up to 50. So I'm going to try doing a couple of guide cuts with a piece of angle. And then freehand the rest of it, I guess. Hold on a second. Yeah, that's good. Here's the tricky part. Not too bad. I can't draw a straight line to save my life. Alright, basically repeat that on the other one and clean up with a grinder and let's pop some motors on it. Alright, so now I'm able to sit that back in the frame again, and I'm thinking right where that blue tube in the very center of the bike comes down, that 2 inches that's hanging out, I'm going to hack that off, and that'll give me the capacity to take that assembly, kind of move it around where I want it. I think I'm going to come up probably about 2 inches from where it is, and it should kind of fill in the center of the bike. I don't want to leave a big open airspace up there, you know. So I'm going to go hack that out and see if I can lift that up. Well, I'm winding down for the night, but I wanted to get the motors on a plate and kind of get an idea where they're going to be. I kind of like that. Tomorrow I may come out and look at it and see it differently, but I kind of like it centered in the frame like that. And you figure out the exhaust and the air cleaners and scoops and everything are on there, it'll help fill in that center pretty good. And chains and jack shaft. It's almost done. There's the chain setup. Will be. I got to make one of the motors slide. I got to cut slides into it so that I could tension the timing chain. Worst case, I'll put an idler pulley in it, and or those little nylon rubby guys, and have that take up some of the bounce on it if it has some. So, all right, I'm signing off. My camera's blinking. Good night, guys.